Welcome to the Motivational Medium podcast. I'm Anne-Marie Lord, a psychic medium, author, and the founder of the Motivational Medium Academy. On this podcast, we'll explore intriguing topics such as mediumship, psychic abilities, and the amazing idea that we all have intuition within us. Whether you're a believer, skeptic, or somewhere in between, get ready to unlock your extraordinary potential as we discover the supernatural world together. If you want your questions featured on the show, be sure to join my tribe by subscribing to my newsletter at annemarielord.com. Let's go. Hello, lovely. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited today. I've got my beautiful friend come and join me. I've been hounding her for weeks. Come on, Sam, find me a space, or Samantha, as you guys will know it as. I've got the beautiful Samantha Duly, who's an amazing medium, and she's also a really good friend of mine who's come to do an interview with us today. So we're just going to have a cuppa and a little chat. Two mediums, nutting it out. So I hope you enjoy today's show. So hi, Sam, how are you doing?
Hi, Anne-Marie. Lovely to be on here.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And thank you so much for taking your time to come and do this. I know how busy you are, but me and you often catch up on a little Zoom, and I persuaded you to.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I love our catch-ups.
I love our catch-ups too. We put the world of mediumship to rights. There we go. So, Sam, I wanted to introduce you to my listeners as well, because I know you're a Samantha Duly, the medium, amazing medium. And as I say, also my really, really, really good friend. And I want you to introduce yourself to our audience and let them know a little bit about who you are. And then we'll ask you some warm-up questions.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Yeah, so I just say I'm just plain Sam, really, or Samantha. I'm still trying to wiggle my nose, as you know, from the lovely Bewitched program. It's absolutely is my childhood favourite. So if I just say I'm just Samantha as well, I'm a mum of two. My daughter's in the UK. My grandies are in the UK. Bring on Christmas, I say. I'm an ultimate bookworm. Wherever you find me, I'm in the corner with a book or Audible these days, really. I actually found some old school reports recently, and it said, if you can't find Samantha, she's in the corner with her nose in the book. So it hasn't changed much 50 years on.
And tell us a little bit about your mediumship as well.
Well, I'm a full-time medium and mentor as well. So I absolutely love what I do. I'm so passionate. And I've always been about raising the standard of mediumship in Australia, because it's very, very different from the UK. As I say, the UK have really high standards. So it's always been my endeavour to raise that here in this country. But it's all about educating the person and, the client, I would say, and even your audience. I always say how it works and what to expect and things like that.
Excellent. So raising the standard of mediumship, I absolutely love that. And bringing the love and the joy and the fun, not the secret. And, when I was growing up, it was like mediumships. We all had cloaks on and, I'm sure people must have expected us to be like quite scary people, but we're just actually normal, everyday people,
Yeah, that's it. We're normal.
That's it. As normal as can be. What's normal?
That's it. I say I'm normal. I see dead people. You're not normal.
That's right. That's right. There's lots and lots of information about mediumship, but I just love the way, as you say, raising the standard of mediumship through your teachings and your coaching, which is fantastic. Now, I'm going to ask you a little question here. Now, we've touched on it a little bit, but what is your biggest accomplishment, Sam?
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's actually getting my DSNU. So that's actually a diploma under the Spiritualist National Union, which is in the UK. And you may say, like, you can do a diploma here in about a year. It took me 8 years to do that.
Wow.
20 essays, backwards and forwards to the UK, being assessed, 4 AM exams. So to me, that's my biggest accomplishment. So if I go back to when my mum was very unwell, and I said to her, do you think I'll get my CSNU by the time I'm 50? And, her illness, her stubbornness, her determination. And I thought, you know what? My mum's struggling to stay on this earth. So I am going to struggle through those exams. So I got actually my CSNU at 49 and I have not stopped. So I'm now studying for my OSNU.
So tell us, what is an OSNU?
It's an officiant of the Spiritual National Union.
And what does that mean, Sam?
So the Spiritualist National Union obviously is a religious body in the UK, but they look after the churches, but they also train spiritualist mediums, healers, even the teachers of tomorrow. So it's really, really high esteem. So an officiant is to then basically would be a celebrant. In those no many words. So I'm studying for that as well. And, really promoting spiritualism and mediumship, really.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now, very quickly, I just want to say to you, so a celebrant. Now, lots of our listeners will probably think celebrant, isn't that someone who marries someone? Is that going to be you?
Yes, I'm looking to the future. I'm going to do marriages, funerals, namings. I'm not so sure. I was thinking the other day, oh my goodness, if I did a funeral and I was seeing all the spirits around, I'd be like, oh my goodness. I'd be like trying to talk and I'd be like, oh, I can see you, Dad. It's going to be quite interesting. So looking forward to the future for
Fantastic. That sounds really good. It's like, Whoopi Goldberg on Ghost. Who is that? All that.
Yeah, I'll be like that. Oh my goodness.
Samantha Duly, there we go.
That's it.
This would be an absolute amazing life journey for you. And I just want to touch on something there you said as well. You actually said, you were watching your mum and you're seeing that she was trying so hard to stay within this air. And you thought, if she can do that, then I can do anything. You found your why. I talk to lots of people about finding your why. If you find your passion, you find your why, you will achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. So that was amazing that you found your why through such a time, which was awful really for you and your family. So well done.
Living the other side of the world.
It can be hard. Yeah, it can be hard. So well done. So finding your why. That was a bit like when my mum passed and I went on to do palliative care then. That was my why, to get into uni and to go and study and do me palliative care. So we find our whys through sometimes the most awfulest times in our life. So well done. Well done. Now, talking about death and dying, which we don't do lightly, please. That's not like, but a little bit of a segue. This is what me and Sam are all about. We're not about doom and gloom. We're quite happy people, jolly people, and we love to communicate with people, living people, and we actually love to spend time with our loved ones as well, which we get great fun out of. So, Sam, I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about a reading that I did many, many years ago. And I know sometimes our listeners don't understand this, and I totally get it because I didn't understand it in the beginning myself. But I did a reading one time and it was during a show, so a platform mediumship show. And I brought through this lady lots of validation and evidence about who this lady was, names, everything. And this lady in the audience could take this and she's saying yes and yes and yes. And I'm thinking, okay. And I could feel and see this lady in my mind's eye, like I connect with the spirit world. And then she said to me, which absolutely blew me away, was, the only thing is, Anne-Marie, my mum's still here. And I was like, what is going on? And she said, she's got dementia. And it was a life-changing, game changer for me. And there was an older medium that I was working with, and she nodded at me and she said, yeah, this can happen. And that was, my door was open then. So Sam, I wanted to discuss with you, like, how does this happen? Because obviously over the years since then, I've brought through lots of people, even with, I brought through last week a girl who had a head injury. So that actually, when she was in her teenage years, she had a severe head injury, and her disability now is quite restriction. She's non-verbal, she can't walk, things like that. And I brought her energy through, the same as people with dementia. And I wanted to get your take on it.
Yes, that's happened to me before as well. And basically, they have one foot in heaven and one foot on the earth. So their soul's starting to leave and they can touch both earths, really. Well, this earth and then obviously their new journey. So that's happened to me before. And also it's with the head injuries as well. I've also had someone talk to me through the mind. It's a bit of like mental telepathy when they've been in a coma.
Yeah.
So I do feel that obviously your memories is what keeps both worlds alive, isn't it?
Definitely.
So then that's what there would be, the communication, because some people say that mediumship is a form of mental telepathy. But obviously the spirit world come through our five senses. So it absolutely fascinates me because, as I say, it's happened to me because you think, oh my goodness, have I just done a psychic reading? And it wasn't. It was just that you can communicate with them like that. But you see, spirit world know everything. And I always remember my great mentor, Mavis Patilla, also saying that heaven knows 6 to 8 weeks before someone's going to pass. So, and then they start to get heaven ready. So it's really interesting how this work with the mind works. I just believe in lifelong learning and I'd like to find out more about it myself, but it's very normal.
Yeah, it's so interesting, very interesting. Now, I just want to go back and touch on something there that you said, what Mavis said about the 8 weeks before we pass, they get heaven ready. What do you mean by that as such? So would we know as earthbound spirits, if you like, not earthbound spirits, but incarnated people, would we know that?
There's a certain thing I've been studying this over the years. It's a bit like, even though my mum was palliative, she was okay at the time. And my niece said, I'm going to go to Greece first week of September. And she says, I don't want you to go. Why, Grandma? I do not want you to go. Guess what? She went. We had to phone her. My mum died. So it's a bit like my mum knew. Yeah. I have a very good school friend and she was going out for the day and she was a very cuddly person anyway, but she went round to all of her family, telling them how much she loved them and how much they meant to her. And she never came back. She died in a car accident.
Wow.
There is part of the soul's knowing that they are going, so, and a gentleman also said to me recently from Spirit, a lady came to see me, his wife came to see me. He said, I woke my wife up in the middle of the night to get her to make an appointment with you. And I died since she made that appointment with you. But I told her to make an appointment with you for that time.
Fascinating, isn't it?
It is. There's so much more.
There's so much we don't know. And, people have different visions or interpretations of things. It's like my interpretation for the people who have got dementia and Alzheimer's is pretty similar to yours. However, being a nurse, I also tap into the sciencey bit as well. And my sciencey thing, if I can use that as a technical term, my sciencey thing, you won't Google that anyway. But the sciencey thing that I think about with people with dementia is, when we look at babies and children, like I've wrote this in my book about how our intuition gets us to this world, if you like. And when we're young, all we've got is our instinct and our intuition. And it's before we know what we're seeing and we know what we're hearing and what we're tasting and things like that. And I believe kids are very intuitive. The veil between the spirit world and children is very thin, as you know that, and they can pick these things up. And I believe through working with people with dementia, you can see them sort of look and then they'll have a conversation. And, it's so real. It's like I'm sitting here having a conversation with you and they'll be sitting and you'll say to them who's that? And they'll say, oh, that's my husband, and I'll be like, okay. And husband is there, obviously, but it's that veil, I believe, becomes very thin. Exactly what you said, one foot in there. Yeah, they see both worlds, and the senses start to go. So they don't know what they're hearing. They can't remember things. So that veil again, this is just my interpretation of it, but I totally agree with you that the veil is very thin. And I just believe that their other senses, their intuition and their instinct start to become heightened again. And
Very
as
true.
you said, the probably people who are end stage, obviously dementia can last quite a long time. So it doesn't mean that they're ready to pass. It just means that they've got, like you said, a foot in both camps, really.
Very much so. And we know it's people at end of life, they start to see their family and it's just they're waiting. Because no
Definitely.
one goes to heaven on their own. They come and get you.
That's right. That's another fascinating discussion, isn't it? Like about people that go to the spirit world, whether it's a child or whether it's an adult in the 90s. No one ever leaves this earth on their own. And through being in palliative care for many years, and I know you were a nurse as well before you did your mediumship. Well, you've always done mediumship, but before,
Yes, I understand.
And when you see a person who's ready to pass to the spirit world, it's usually a few days before, or it could be like a whole day or the day before that. They start, chatting away. And I'm a palliative care nurse, and lots of people would say, oh, well, isn't that the medication and the drugs that they were on? But let me tell you, my mum didn't even have a paracetamol. And the night and the day she passed, she was definitely talking to her dad.
Yeah, very
Definitely.
true.
And she hadn't even had a paracetamol, So I used to see that quite regular. So you see the same.
Very much so. Yeah, absolutely. And I just knew when I was on the plane, because I had to go over very quickly, but I just knew my grandmother was sitting in my mum's bedroom waiting
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Don't know whether you can hear that, but my dog's snoring away underneath my feet. So excuse that noise if you can hear it, guys. It's just my dog having a little comfy snore. He must be getting really relaxed as me and Sam talk about all this stuff. I hope he's not bored. There you go. So it's such an interesting topic. Yeah, absolutely. I love talking about mediumship. And I often think that lots of people work so different with mediumship.
Oh, gosh, yeah. It's all about the evidence. I think evidence is everything. You've got to bring
Yeah, it
evidence
is.
and not fluff through.
That's right. Yeah.
And I always just say, if you can give evidence what's happened since they've passed, that is the best.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because I've had some people say, well, my grandma never met my husband. So why does she want to have an opinion on him or want to say that she likes him So what's your take on that?
Oh, spirit know everything because it's just the family and it's just proving that they haven't left us. I do say to people, though, don't forget, spirit don't see you bed, bath, toilet. They're not interested. Because some people look at me and think, how did they know that? And I said, they know everything. But when I say, spirit don't see you in the bathroom, well, very quickly, I saw a lady in South Australia. I said, your husband tells me he's leaving you 5 cents everywhere. And she just looked at me and she went, yes, one this morning. She said, I was in the shower. One came over the top of the shower and landed at my feet. And I said, well,
Wow.
It was your husband. He could see you in the nuddy. But it's just, that's what spirit do. If they want to make their presence known, they will do anything.
It's funny you should say that. I remember saying something similar, and it was about this girl, and she'd just got married, and her nan had said, like Nancy's everything. She loves your new husband. And she was the same. Everything. This girl had just been on a honeymoon, and she was like, everything. And I said, well, let's look at it this way. Do you think your nan would want to come and watch you doing rumpy pumpy in life? And she went, no. And I said, well, she doesn't want to come and see you doing it from spirit either. She's not interested in that part, So same thing. They will come in, they keep an eye on us. They show us signs, beautiful signs like that lady with the 5 cent piece. Yeah. Now, just before we go, and you can tell me a little bit about what you've going on and things like that. But Sam, I would love to have you back on the show again. We could delve into these topics and conversations for hours and hours.
We could.
Definitely. So we will have Sam back on the podcast. If she agrees, she'll agree.
I'll be back.
I'll give her a little gin. She doesn't drink much, but she likes a little, just one. She has one. Every now and again. So if I take her out and buy her a nice meal and give it a little gin, I'm sure she'll come back on. So just before we go, Sam, and you tell us a little bit about what you've got coming up and what you've got going on.
Okay, so tonight I've actually got a sold out demonstration of mediumship.
Fantastic.
So it's been good to be busy today because the nerves kick in already. I'm going to be on Fringe, working with a couple of colleagues, which is good. And I've got some trips planned interstate next year. But my thing is, it's time, come and work here, come and work there. But what I really, really want to do is finish my book. Been 2 years now. But I'd love to finish that because I just love to educate people. And, so many people ask about how I started and my journey and everything. So that's what my aim is for 2024, is to finish my book.
Fantastic. And I know it will be well received because I'm a medium. There we go. But I honestly think you're so good at your teaching, Sam. You're an abundance of education. I mean, you might turn two-person anyway. We always get together and have a little chat, and I say, Sam, what's this? And, what happened here? And, so Sam is abundance of education. And I also know she runs lots of courses. So if you want to enhance your mediumship, or she runs lots of psychic courses as well, if you want to do any of this, please get in touch with Sam. And Sam, give us your website and how people can get a hold of you.
My website is and it's Samantha, and Duly is DULY.com. I also put quite a lot of stuff on my business Facebook, which is at Dragonfly Centre of Life and Spirit. As I say, I do work overseas, so I do on Zoom as well.
Fantastic. Now, all Sam's details will be in the show notes, so you can jump on the show notes and have a little look in there. But if you wanted to get in touch with Sam, Sam, give us that website again.
www.samanthaduly.com.
Fantastic. Now, Sam's usually booked up for a long time in advance, but, well worth the wait. Okay, guys.
The readings.
September 24th. But don't let that scare you off.
No.
She's an absolute abundance of education, knowledge, and an absolute true advocate for the spirit world. And I love our conversations that we have. Sam, I am so grateful that you decided to come on the show today. And I'm sure our audience and the guys that are listening, my lovely, lovely people out there that I absolutely love and connect with every fortnight, will enjoy our conversation as much as I have today. So, Sam, thank you. Thank you from my heart to yours.
My pleasure.
I appreciate you.
You too.
Now, guys, just before we go, don't forget, I have got the new online course. It's called The Grateful 3 Approach to Transforming Your Mind. I am so excited about this course. It's all to do with transforming your mind. We've got lots of information in there. We've got how to believe, how to knock down anxiety, how to build your confidence. If you've had that dream job, that dream career, that dream business that you were dreaming of, then you need this course. It changes people's lives. I get lots of information and lots of messages from people all over the world who have read my book, The Grateful 3 Approach to Life. And lots of the information from that book is within the course and taught by yours truly. If you can put up with my voice and my dulcet Scouse tones for a little while longer, jump on the course. You'll find it on my website, annemarielord.com. And yeah, I would love to see you on the course. Take care, guys. And once again, thank you so much, Sam, for coming along. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this show. It's important to note that while I'm here to inspire, encourage and guide you, I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist or a doctor. Join me again in 2 weeks for more captivating revelations on the supernatural. Remember to be in with a chance to have your questions answered on the podcast. Subscribe to my newsletter at annemarielord.com. Stay in the tribe to vibe. I appreciate you guys. See you next time.